All right, guys, welcome to another episode of Snagged Podcast and Giveaways. The Big Hooch is back.
How's he? Yeah, been away for a while, and we're down a couple of players, I see.
Well, I know young Dylan is he's moving house, so he wanted to be here, but he couldn't. He's busy carrying furniture, so half his
No
luck.
worries.
That is what
Kicking
it
a
is.
can down the road.
That's
Down the road.
exactly.
Lovely
So
work.
the reports. What's been happening in the north?
Well, in the north and the northwest, it's been quiet, of course, because it's winter, but we've come out the other side of that into spring, and I know it's only early into spring, but the weather has been on the improve. We had a bit of a cold snap and a lot of snow about, so that snow melt meant that the rivers were running quite strongly. Not too many swollen banks for those worm drowners in the trout department, but as far as trout's been going, I think it's been a reasonable season, and particularly in those rivers down the west coast and also the dams. Macintosh was fishing quite well. Macintosh is spilling now, so that will not be a thing for a while. And actually, a number of the lakes are spilling, so I'd recommend getting on the hydro page and having a look before you head off anywhere if that's going to cause an issue. One place of interest that has really got a lot more activity is Lake Plimsoll. And I mean, Lake Plimsoll is on that Plimsoll Road between, what would that be, Tulla and Queenstown. You go up over the hill there, and in the pretty much hated little in the middle is Lake Plimsoll. Now, they're of interest up in there because of the brook trout, and that's something a bit different. So a little bit of a bucket list item for a few people. And I think early suggestion was it was fishing quite well. I saw a fair few people with multiple fish, and they're normally quite tricky to catch, but I think there's a bit of help in fed around on the facey books on what lures and how to catch them, and so that was good to see. Another thing that was good to see is a lot of people are just putting them back because they're more of a photo opportunity. I actually haven't heard. Have you heard how they eat compared to, not that trout are a very good eating fish?
No, I think a couple of guys last season were getting into them, so they would go all right. But yeah, nothing particularly amazing.
Yeah, so I hope I haven't made anyone butthurt saying that trout aren't much good to eat. I just mean that you can make them nice to eat, and I love a small pan-fried one when you're camping. But as far as fish go, and particularly fish that I catch, they aren't much. They wouldn't make my top 10 anyway. But that doesn't mean that when you're around the campfire and you've caught a nice trout and you've cooked it up with some pepper and salt, yeah, I've actually stuffed them with like a chicken, sort of like a chicken stuffing with some onion and bacon. It wasn't too bad, but I mean, you stuff anything with cheese, onion, and bacon, and what's not to like?
Tastes like cheese, onion, and bacon.
Yeah, exactly. And there's nothing wrong with that. And so what else have we got? Oh, winter whiting. So there was a winter whiting run. There was some really nice winter whiting being caught. Those that were prepared to wear the fingerless gloves and brave the elements did quite well. And again, the salmon, for those that have been quite braving the elements, up where were the big uns? The big uns were up in the Port Sorell Channel. They were some good fish. And on light line, quite a good sporting bit of entertainment. And on the breakwalls of, say, Ulverston and Devonport, they were featuring. Didn't hear too much about the Rivermouth in Forth. The Rivermouth in Forth will probably start to be spoken about soon because of the expected whitebait run and the sea runners. The Leven gets a good sea run activity, so does the Derwent. So we'll hear more about that soon. And I suppose what else? Well, it's a bit of gummy fishing too. There was a few people braving the elements and beach fishing for gummies, and they were doing quite well. So one thing that was going well early on, and people forget that southern calamari are a cold water species to a certain degree, and they come quite early to the shores to spawn. So early on, they were fishing quite well, but of course it's now shut, and it's shut for a good reason. It's shut for spawning. And no one laments a fishery being shut down for spawning. It makes sense. So there's a bit of a rolling spawn because they spawn in different areas around Tasmania at different times. But one thing that has popped up where people are a little bit crabby and a bit confused is that when these squid closures are on, you're also not allowed to have squid on your boat as bait, which is a bit disappointing. Because what that's basically saying is that we're all out to break the law. if you've caught some squid bait last season, I've got squid heads where I've pulled the heads and guts and googe and put in a bag, in a Ziploc bag in my freezer that's been there for 2 years. And I often use that as bait. That's fantastic bait. But to be able to go out and use your bait is a bit
over the top. Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure they had their reasons for it, but yeah, it seems a little bit excessive, and especially it's pretty. I mean, obviously, if some people use fresh bait, but I mean, you can usually tell if the squid's been sitting in the freezer for a couple of years there, and it's going to be a bit of bait. It's going to be a bit stinky. It's not going to be likely to be edible.
That's exactly right. And the reasons some of the reasons are like they're basically saying that we're out to break the law and are going to just tell everyone that these squid that we've caught fresh out of season. Oh no, I caught them last year. But what that is saying is that the police and they can't tell the difference between frozen bait and fresh bait, which, and to be fair, the people that are going to push the envelope and do the wrong thing, I would imagine I would hope that they are a fairly small percentage, but the rest of the fishing community gets blanketed in a rule that, to be fair, I doubt very much whether it would be enforced anyway. So it's just one of those rules for rule's sake. I mean, it's a lazy way of going about it. A little bit of education on why we're shutting them down would be a good thing. And celebrating the fact that some anglers are out there catching their own bait, salting it down, freezing it down, processing it. I mean, that's what we do. If we go stripey fishing, we'll be using our own bait. Geez, if you go stripey fishing and you're feeding 2 young keen anglers, you'll spend $60 worth of bait in a heartbeat if the school sharks and a few of the nibblers are about. But anyway, what else? Oh, we've got to look forward to season's opening. Not talking about season shutting.
No, not far off for a few good ones.
Well, I mean, it's a little way, November, but November she's back on for crayfish in the west and stripy trumpeter come back on. So good stuff.
Yeah, cool. Looking forward to that. Absolutely. What do we got going on? I haven't got that many reports. It's been a bit quiet down this end, but most of the reports are sort of getting a Central Highlands based at the moment. So Lake Echo is fishing pretty well from the shore. Guys are saying green to green-yellow hard bodies seem to be the key there. Bronte chain's fishing okay. Not big mounts of fish, but some guys are getting some decent quality fish out of there. I saw one the other day. It was 55 centimetres, which is a good fish for out of Bronte. Certainly get bigger, but that's still a good fish. A little local river down here, Sway and Kingston down the road from the shop. Browns River's been fishing well. We've got some good brim coming out of there, but also a couple of really decent-sized trout sort of kicking around there. Often happens around this time of year, you get a few sea runners start moving up in there, so it can be a bit of fun because it's only a small bit of water. A few reports of the King George whiting up off St Helens going okay, and certainly up north of the state. A few Aussie salmon out in Storm Bay. That's been going pretty well. A few guys have been doing that. But honestly, that's about it. If you guys are out there tracing gummies and stuff, but haven't any sort of good reports, unfortunately. So it's that time of the year. Footy's almost over. We get the reports will start flying in after that.
Oh, very much so. And I'll just turn that down. Very much so. The weather, cold, footy, it all adds up to being hard to get out and about. Just bear with me 1 second. You talk to the crowd. I've got something funny.
Oh, God, here we go. That's it. Is a hat or a costume? We're going to go get your 3-year-old squid out of the freezer. Love Hooch's clothing in the background there. Looks like.
You don't sound like you're talking right now.
Oh, well, I was just telling people about your clothes in the background.
Oh, that's the Chinese laundry. So there's a pulley system over there. So when I let go of the rope, that all comes out of the ceiling. And then I can pull it and it goes up into the ceiling and it's quite warm up in there. So the clothes dry pretty good up there.
Excellent.
Chinese laundry. Now, this here, have a look at this magnificent thing. I'll hold it still. Now, this was found somehow in the bottom of a lake somewhere. And I went to help my mate do something in his tow a car for him. And he gave it to me. And I said, what am I going to do with that, Nigel? It's been in the bottom of a lake. Testament to the old Ryobi, she still turns, right? But can you see? This is it was a freshwater lake. Can you see the line?
I'm not super clear, but I can see it.
Well, I reckon it's 80-pound break and strain.
Oh wow!
Can you see it?
Yeah, I can see it now. That's having a crack.
And
The deadline special.
no, he's fishing lures, whoever had it, but have a look at this. It's gold. And look, I'm not one to normally take the piss, but it is a bit of a giggle. So we got 80 pound or more. It'll be more. It's just
It's got
insane.
some spring to it.
Oh, it's just insane. But have a look at the tiny lure. The lure itself is actually not too bad.
Well, an RMG.
It's not a bad lure. I don't mind it. I'll refurbish that with a new set of thingos. But have a look at the clip and the knot and the double.
Well, it's doubled, you know. You can never be too careful.
So
Yeah,
that's
that's
one
insane.
way of going about it.
Absolutely.
But-
Yeah, imagine what the fish was that pulled it in.
Have a guess. Have a guess what the reel is.
The
She's
rod.
not an original. She's not an original, but I reckon she's a late 80s, early 90s Black Queen.
Absolutely. Still got the plastic on the handle.
Still got the plastic on the handle. That's what Nige kept saying. I said, she's a bit rough, Nige. And he goes, that's it. Yep. Black Queen Deluxe.
Love
Have
it.
a look at her.
Love it. Good work. All right,
She's a champion.
let's jump into some brags before you go and find your other fishing gear. All right, what do we got here? Peter Bradman with a new PB trout coming in at 70 centimetres. Awesome fish legend. Good job. Got Jesse Temple with a cracker of a rainbow. It's very trout orientated, these brags, which is good to see. There's plenty of people out there having a crack. Josh
That
Ward.
time of the year.
That's it. Josh Ward, good customer of mine with a nice little brown he got braving the snow the other day. Awesome work, legend. Ben with a good feed of browns from the Derwent on the old spotted dog Rapala. Awesome work. It's a great lure, those things. Tim Seymour with a stonk of a rainbow from up at Cradle Mountains. I believe it's that Cradle Mountain private fishery up there. That's a good little spot. If anyone hasn't been there, they should definitely give it a shot. It's a bit of fun. Joel Gent also with a stonk of a rainbow.
That was a good fish.
That was a cracker
That was
fish.
a good fish.
Hugo with a nice brown. I think the first one of the season says smile says it all. Jack Wise with another cracking brown. That boy's got some good fish this season. Young Arthur Widdock with a nice brown on the fly. First run on the fly for the season. Awesome work, young Arthur. And his younger brother, Joe Widdock, with a couple of nice browns from Lake Echo. Braved the cold recently and got into a couple of good ones there. So good job, young Joe. I tell you, young Joe, that he's 14 years old. You should see the flies that kid ties.
Nice work.
Oh, God, they do well. Absolutely. So good job, Joe. You're doing it well. All right, that's just about us, guys. If you like what we do and you want to win some awesome prizes and support us for it, www.snag.com.au, grab yourself a membership and win some cool prizes and support us doing this every single week. We're looking forward to the sun coming back out, so we've got a bit more to talk about, but it is that time of the year.
It certainly is. And two useless bits of information. Oh, well, one's useless and one's not so useless. This rod was actually come out of a shed 2 blocks away from where old mate with that rainbow lives.
Oh, there you go.
Jake,
Awesome.
yeah, the infamous Joel Gent. And Friday, the 26th of this month, a wreck fisher hub in Launceston. So if anyone's from Launceston, they want to come across and say g'day, it'll be at the Riverside Golf Club in Launceston, just up from Tamar. But I'll have more about that because the 26th is a week away. So I might get, if I haven't upset anyone by calling that a Chinese laundry and having a crack at trout tasting rubbish, I might get in.
Just need to teach you how to cook, mate. Got to bet they're good in the smoker.
Oh, well, anything's good in the smoker. I reckon I could smoke a dog too.
Love it.
As
All right,
long as
guys.
there was some Texas sauce on it.
Oh, God. Oh, we do sell some pretty good barbecue sauce here. I'll get you some.
Tidy.
All right, guys. Have a great week.
See you, mate.